Itchy back. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from our city, state, and country. We take a look at your comments, ideas, and suggestions. We combine all this information and hopefully put it to good use to be more connected as a community of English speaking locals living here in Puerto Vallarta. Today is November 4th, and it is a pleasure to see you. It is a pleasure to see Raymond. Hello, baby. We miss your puns. I hope you're doing well. It's great to see you this morning, particularly this morning, because we're going to talk about your former bakery, and you get to see how things are looking over there. We had a great time conversing with Bill, and we're going to have an interview with him later on in the broadcast, which should be very helpful for anyone considering opening a business in Puerto Vallarta as a foreigner. You'll get a lot of insight from Bill. And of course, we get to find out more about the Three Hens and a Rooster market, which is soon to open. But first, as always, welcome everyone. Welcome to those of you that are watching for the first time live. If that is your case, you can let us know that you are doing this by writing the word new in your comment, and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. And of course, if you have something truly important on your mind that you wish to unload, that you wish to hear a comment about or connection about, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. Today, we're going to keep our news short because we are going to focus our attention on the interview for the most part, but I do have a few headlines to share that I hope you will find at least amusing. Let's take a look. Well, as we said in the pre-show announcement, sometimes when it comes to caca water, a bit of civil disobedience goes a long way. This is about the sewage in Emiliano Zapata. We've known of the sewage water that is constantly seeping at the intersection of Insurgentes and Madero streets. We've also known that Ceapal went there a few weeks ago, took a look at it, and said, well, this is due to unfinished or improperly done work performed by state public works authorities during the reconstruction of the Insurgentes Street Bridge. And we've known that at the time, Ceapal said, well, this is their business, not ours. Ceapal washed their hands and moved right along. But clearly, the residents of the area had enough stench to deal with, and yesterday proceeded to block the intersection at Insurgentes and Madero. And apparently, this demonstration had been in the works for at least a couple days because Ceapal sent personnel to do cleanup the 2 days before yesterday and also yesterday morning prior to the demonstration. So clearly, Ceapal has the means to fix the problem but chooses not to address it. The demonstration did not last that long. It only took a few minutes for the new CEPAL director to reach the stinky scene, along with other municipal authorities, all of which vowed to handle the problem. And I don't mean that literally, or at least not literally. When and how it's going to be handled? Well, isn't that a great question? Moving right along. We have great news for folks living in Guadalajara and wanting to travel to Colima or vice versa. The new highway connecting both cities opens today, reducing travel time between these two cities by only 1.5 hours. And just to help you see what we're talking about, here is the map, which shows, of course, Puerto Vallarta on the upper left. There's Guadalajara and there's Colima. So the distance between Guadalajara and Colima, the travel time, is now going to be 1.5 hours. And looking at this, you are probably wondering, what is the latest on the conclusion of the new highway from Guadalajara to Puerto Vallarta? The one that was begun in 2011, the one that was expected to be concluded in 2017, 4 years ago. So glad you asked. Authorities are now saying that the new super fast, oh so fast highway will not be concluded until December 2023. Another fucking year. Now authorities are saying that the final stretch is stuck in legal limbo due to the ejido owners probably wishing to be compensated for the loss of their land and the government not reaching a suitable arrangement with them. What can I tell you? And what else do we have? Puerto Vallarta fared well at the latest edition of the annual Travvy Awards produced in the United States by Travel Pulse. The event honors the best and brightest in the travel industry, and their 8th annual edition took place last night at the Hilton Fort Lauderdale in Marina, Florida. And at the event, Puerto Vallarta came home with 5 accolades, one more than the year before. A silver award for Best Culinary Destination in Mexico, a bronze award for Best Tourism Office in Mexico, a bronze award for Best Mexico Destination, and a bronze award for Best Wedding Destination in Mexico, and another bronze award for Best Honeymoon Destination in Mexico, provided that you don't celebrate your honeymoon anytime near Insurgentes Street, where it doesn't smell so good. Puerto Vallarta's Tourism Bureau Director, Luis Villaseñor Nolasco, was present to receive the awards. And this brings us up to our weather moment. So let's go and have a look. It's sunny, but I feel like it's rainy. Oh no, snarky carrot weather must suffer from clinical depression, because I've been there when it's sunny, but I feel like it's rainy. Anyhow, it is 26 degrees right now. Feels like 28. Humidity is at 67%. We gotta love that. And our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 79. Our weather forecast for today: it's a humid day with a high of 29 and a low of 18. Tomorrow, we will have a humid day with a high of 28 and a low of 17. Gotta love those early, fresh mornings. It's been chilly in the morning. And on Sunday, humid throughout the day with a high of 28 and a low of 19. And of course, this brings us to our interview with Bill Abbott. And before we get started on the interview, I just want to remind you why this is important to me. It is important to me because Bill met the whole thing happened because Bill and the former owner of Artisan Bakery, Raymond, they met at a Coffee and Headlines get-together. I mean, they didn't realize, well, I'll let them tell the story, but somehow this is important to me because the process started at one of our meet and greets, and also because Artisan Bakery is just down the street. It's in my neighborhood. So this is the story that we are sharing today. Hello, Bill.
Mr. Ojeda.
Let us rewind some tapes briefly. You are the new owner of Artisan Bakery.
Yes.
You bought Artisan Bakery from Raymond after, well, not directly after, but you met Raymond at one of Coffee and Headlines
In March.
meet and greets, yes.
One of the first ones we were able to have after COVID, or in the midst of COVID. And everybody was brave enough to go out over to Whiskey Kitchen.
How much time went by between meeting Raymond and then you went back to the United States and you saw the listing, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was for sale. I talked to Raymond extensively at the gathering, and was very fascinated by the bakery and he everything that he had done with the business and why he purchased the business and all these things, since I'd been looking for opportunities for some time. And then I went back after dreaming here in Puerto Vallarta, as I often do, and back to the grind. And then one night, late at night, I said, I'm going to look a little deeper for business opportunities, and found the listing that he had put in. I thought that it was an old listing from when he had originally purchased the bakery. I didn't even think it was for sale at that time. So some more time passed, and then another late night when I was lying in bed, and I was like, boy, I would really rather be in Puerto Vallarta right now. I'm going to just send a message because that listing is still there. He answered within hours the next morning. He did not realize it was me, which was funny. And I'm like, oh. And I knew right away it was him, and that he did indeed have it for sale. And I had to make some quick decisions. And then a few hours later, we started dialogue, and one thing led to another. And this was in June of this year. And I had to make a decision. Everything fell into place, and here I am. I missed a few steps in there, but
That's okay. You have some photos.
I do.
I want to see those photos that you have, because they present a really interesting story of what has happened.
Yes, so it's not complete, but I did a little slideshow.
I like it.
Which kind of jumped a few steps, but it went from my first day off the plane, as it were, and then I'll share these with you so everybody can see them.
Okay.
But the first day I arrived, and I'll just let you slide through them if you want.
So this is you just standing in front of Artisan Bakery for the first time ever. When was this?
This was
It says July 31st.
That's exactly right.
Okay. And then you met with...
So this was about 30 days later. We did the formal handover of the bakery on September 24th.
23rd.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was Raymond and Ted's last day in country.
And now here you are standing outside with your truck behind you. What's going on?
The van had broken down, and deliveries had to be made, and I needed to go find where the van was, and I found it, and waiting for the mechanics who had just arrived, and this is over by the stadium. So just another exciting day. And then we jump ahead.
And then we jump ahead because, I mean, even before you talk about this photo, I just walked in this morning and I saw all the work that is being done around the facade, and then you did all this. When did this happen? This is October 15th.
So electrical work started a week before that, a few days before that, I should say. So this is the electrical work being done. And then we really went to work. So I had all of the electric replaced and renovated in the front dining room, back to my office to bury cords and cables because I'm obsessive about such things. And the dust continues. And then the lights came on. So that's all new lighting, and I'm very proud of that. And you'll see as you go through. Then we started with the renovations of the walls and the physical space. So we're preparing the plaster as you do in Mexico. There's a lot of dust flying around. I removed a false wall and just expanded the space as much as possible. And then we took out the old doors and put in a new front gate, which I'm extremely proud of, and you'll see a picture of that. There's the young man taking that glass out that had been there for many, many years. And that's a lot has to do with ventilation as well. So the front of the way my space is set up is the main airflow is from the front. So I have to make sure I have airflow back to my bakers, which is in the back of the house. And here's the new door being offloaded off the truck,
Holy.
which is a new lovely gate in a little bit more modern Mexican style, I think, a little more contemporary. Doing a little more grinding there. I love it when sparks fly.
What surprises me the most out of these photos is that you have not interrupted your service.
Thank you. It has been a struggle to keep our production lines moving. So I should mention to those of you who don't know about the bakery, we supply many important restaurants. Every business is important, but we supply a lot of restaurants with our bread. And we do that every single day except for Sundays, and they depend on us. And our very faithful and dedicated clientele also expect us to be open so they can come get their sourdough bread. And a lot of them are coming from Boca de Tamatlan, Coches Chinas, Sayulita. They come when they're in town and they want to buy bread. And so I want to be open for them at all times. I'm happy to say that it was a struggle, but we have not missed a single opening day or a single production or a single bake. And we will not if I have anything to say about it.
Let us pause for a second.
Yes.
And tell me about the process that you're going through as a newly arrived English-speaking person that is now an English-speaking local who never had a bakery before.
That's right.
And you blink an eye and all of a sudden not only have you moved here.
Salsa de tomate y salsa mulata.
Muchísimas gracias. So you are now living here full time. Not only that, you went ahead and purchased a business that you were not familiar with, and here you are.
Well,
and how are you?
I'm holding up. So first of all, I had a great transition with Raymond and Ted. So they were extremely supportive, and I continue to be able to ask them questions when I need to. And they did a lot of training to hand everything over to me. The other thing that I cannot be more thankful for is I have great employees that have been with the bakery for many, many years, most of them. So the bakery's been here for almost 17 years in Puerto Vallarta, and our head baker's been with us for over 10 years. My manager, Ileana, who is indispensable, has been with us for over 8 years. My cleaning lady, Elena, has been for over 8 years. And so that really has been a huge help. And then I've met a couple important people that have helped me with contractors and so forth. I have a background in construction from up north. It's different down here, I knew that, and I have to always adjust my thinking about things. I'm sure you've heard that. But
Well, speaking about that, tell me something that you imagined would be very complicated and difficult that turned out to be a lot easier than you thought.
it's usually the other way around.
I know, we'll get to that. We'll get to that Sneaky. too.
So let's see. Something that I thought would be difficult.
Has there been something that you dreaded and all of a sudden you got it done surprisingly easily?
I have to think about that one for a minute.
Okay, think about that for a bit,
Yeah.
and then let's flip the coin.
Yeah, flip the coin.
What was the one thing that you
thought would be a no-brainer and that is just took you totally off guard?
Other than the previous question.
Where do I begin?
Well,
Let's start with mechanics for the van, for instance. And this is just a for instance. It could be one of anything out of the hat. So the van needed new tires desperately. And so, I asked to get 4 new tires. And along with that, I knew it would need some suspension work because that's the whole reason the tires were bad. So that ended up taking about 5 days. So I have contingencies for that van to make sure we make all of our deliveries. But I was like, I know this, we just have to get it in, and somebody needs to tell me, a cost and how much, and then you have to adjust and slow down to that pace, which is hard to do when you're running a business especially. But you would think those are things that are a little bit easier. This 4 new tires, how hard can that be?
fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
That's a good one.
Is there something that, if somebody came to you and said, okay, I'm moving to Puerto Vallarta, I'm opening a business, what is the first thing that comes to mind in terms of like warning signs for that person or something to keep in mind?
Yes. Well, you have to be able to adjust your thinking and your timing and your expectations and your clock, biological clock, mental clock, whatever, to come to the pace of Mexico. And it's not necessarily that it's slower, it's things are just done differently here. And so that's and I have to remind myself constantly of that. And I've been coming here for a long time, so I had those expectations, but when you start living it, you just have to remember at the beginning and at the end of each day, that's what I work on now. It's like, it's going to be all right. I'm where I'm supposed to be. We're making bread and we made our production, and then I start to be thankful from there and work backwards. And then I go to my task list that it's like, oh my God, I got to get all these things done.
Before we move on to all the wonderful things that are coming up, once again,
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. Wow, I never imagined this would be as simple as it turned out to be.
And I just had it in my mind, I was getting equipment worked on in the back. So we have an older machine that helps us make our croissant dough. It's one of the things that does. And it's a very old machine, but it needed a new belt on it. I didn't realize how difficult that was going to be. And then the first technician we had come in, I'll put it politely, was here for 2 days, and when I say 2 days, I kind of mean day and night working on the machine. The belt got replaced, but then the machine still didn't work. And then I had another technician come in from another person that helps me with the contractors. He came in, he adjusted that whole electrical motor and put all the tension correctly on that in an hour and a half. And I was like, why did I just go through 2 days, day and night of this anxiety? So that was like, a little bit of luck of the draw, and now I have a reliable technician who I will call on to work on a variety of different things, who is very professional. Goes back to your first point. You have to have the contacts to support your business. And so were already a lot of contacts that I was handed, but there's a few specialty items that come up like that. And so if you know somebody who knows how to find the contacts, would be the first, that's your best bet. The ace in the hole.
I was totally surprised to learn that, you are known for the many varieties of sourdough bread the bakery produces. Not only has this been going on for years, but you have, and you just showed me, you have starter.
Yes.
A starter that was brought here from California. How long ago?
I think it's about 17 years. I'm still laying out the whole lineage. I'm the 5th owner of the baker. The sourdough came from San Francisco over 16 years ago, and it's been in continuous operation since that time.
Wow.
Now that sourdough starter is older than that even, but that's when it came from San Francisco. So I would like to make one point, and that is, yes, I'm making a lot of physical changes to the space and trying to do some wonderful things to the bakery, but we are not in any way changing the quality and the heart and soul of our bread and our product that we provide. I just think it's so important what we do at the bakery.
Ooh.
And lovely. Thank you, Momo.
Gracias.
And wow. And so we have 20 different varieties of sourdough bread. I'm very proud of that. We have a 15-page menu that we serve to you every day. So we don't keep everything on that menu in the bakery, but if you send us a WhatsApp the day before, we'll have it ready for you the next day. And we'll even deliver it to you in Puerto Vallarta the next day. And so it's all the same price.
What's the scoop with 3 hens and a rooster?
Yes. So 3 hens and a rooster is one of the older downtown markets that's been here. So the big market that everybody knows of, the oldest Altus market in the Emiliano Zapata Park downtown, it's a big market. It's not the biggest around, but that's the one that everybody knows about. 3 hens and a rooster, from what I remember back in the day, they used to be combined together and then they split off. Mm-hmm. And 3 hens and a rooster moved around a little bit. We are now on the Quale River by the Art Center where the statue of John Huston is. And so it's every Saturday during season, 9 to 1 o'clock, the same time as the other market. It's a smaller, there's probably 15 or 20 vendors there. It's more relaxed, we're in the shade, you're on by the river. It's a lovely setting. You can go to the other one and see all of the, multitude of vendors and people, and it's very crowded there. And then walk up the river and relax, have a bite of lunch at one of the restaurants or at one of the vendors in our market, and stop by and see us. I just think it's very relaxing. That's what before I was a
business
owner there, that's what I would do. I would go to the big market and then I would walk up and see the other market because it was more relaxed.
Do you have any inside scoop on the new Indian restaurant that's supposed to be coming to the river?
I don't. I hear that it's going to be good, and I'm a big fan of Indian food. I don't have any inside information on that, but it's going to be a lovely space. I like the location.
Is there anything that we're missing? Something that you really want to make sure that people learn about you or the bakery, the new things that are coming up?
There's a lot of new things in store. So I'm making some changes to the hours. I'm adding some more staff to help serve, and so we can extend our hours a little bit more, making it more of a space where you can chill out and have a cup of coffee or an iced coffee and maybe a pastry or some of our other products. We serve also in the store different items from the artisan market, such as jams and salsas and the natural honey and the organic eggs, things of that nature. We're not a huge store, but I'm going to be expanding those offerings to make them a little more interesting, and there may even be some chocolate in store as I get my new refrigeration units in place. And who doesn't like some chocolate and bread?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, it's a pleasure to connect with you. It's a pleasure to know that you're surviving your transition and that you are enjoying the process.
I am, and I thank you so much, Paco. It would almost not have been possible without you and what you do with the group. Is so important.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much. And folks, remember, this is all about Artisan Bakery, located here in Colonia Versalles. We're going to share Facebook page information and all that good stuff so that everybody can connect. And let us not let our quesadillas get cold.
Thank you, Paco.
Thank you. Okay, that was good.
Was it?
Yes, that was good indeed. And why do I keep popping up when I'm not needed? There you go. Goodbye. That was our interview with Bill. I am really happy for Bill because he's going through the process of becoming not only a full-time Mexico resident but also a business owner. I am sure he's not the only one in the block, and it was a pleasure. I've tried the bread and it is absolutely delicious, and I am so happy that he is nearby. Who should be our next interviewee and why? We are all open to suggestions. Ultimately, my goal here, as you know, is to help you connect with places and people and whatnot. If anybody has a particular person in mind that you think you would like to get to know better, please drop a comment or feel free to connect with me directly via a message. And now let's take a quick look at your comments just to see what everybody is up to. And yes, we forgot to mention today is Friday. Happy Friday, says Wanda. Thank you very much for that. Linda has just arrived. Yay. Let's see what else we have. Deb comments on my hand petting Luna at the beginning of the broadcast. I love it. Let's see. Root canals, I read somewhere. Ooh, we need good medications for that. Lots of good mornings. Lots of good mornings. Christy, we showed your critters. I love the work you do, and I never get tired of saying it. Let's see. There's a question here. Looks like Los Muertos Brewing is having a street party on Lázaro Cárdenas tomorrow. Yes, we've been mentioning it, and we will remind everyone about this tomorrow. Let's see. Another counter. V or Vi, I'm not sure what it is, but it's 2 more nights. I love it. Bill, it's great to see you here answering questions, and it's great that you are a member of our cluster. I appreciate that very much. Hold on. And then out of nowhere, the very well-behaved Bill Bass drops the F-bomb by mistake, and this was halfway through the interview, and I was like, what just happened? But then Bill corrected himself and said, my lip sync is off. If anybody is experiencing lip sync is off, please let me know so that I can find out whether it's a generalized issue or just Bill. Much appreciated. Here's a new Facebook user. Hello, new Facebook user. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. Great that you are enjoying the broadcast. Let's see. Ricky is not getting notifications from Facebook. Well, the good news, Ricky, is we're always on at 10:30 in the morning, sometimes 10:31. So it's easy to find us. I'm going to second this motion, which we showed on the screen. We do need a decent apple fritter, and that would be so yummy. Although I concur with the assessment of the apple strudel that Bill makes. It is absolutely yummy. And a hey from Whiskey Kitchen. Hi, Gina. Gina is already planning her U.S. Thanksgiving dinner, she told me the other day, and that should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Here's a question for Bill. Will you be offering a thinner sliced bread? Interesting question, I think. Well, sarcasm. So you come to stay in Mexico but will not assimilate, buy American stuff, and stay in your condo. Real Mexican experience. This was a sarcastic comment, folks, and I think Ben is onto something. I'm not going to agree or disagree, but I will say, yes, it is unfortunate that some people have different comfort levels than others. And I feel like sometimes when you come here to have a very sheltered American experience or north of the border experience, you miss out on the country. But again, everybody has their own comfort levels, and it's a great thing that the Bay has so much to offer for everyone despite the comfort level. Let's see what else we have. Oh, endorsement. Check it out, Bill. Raymond just gave his endorsement. It's great to see Artisan Bakery is in such capable hands. And then he adds a capital letter C, which probably means coochie coochie coo. But what do I know? More comments, more comments, more comments, more comments. Yes. Oh, that is almost snarky, but no, it's not snarky, because I'll be the first person to say that having bread sliced the way you want it, if there's a machine that'll do it, it's always convenient. Like, when I've purchased loaves of bread at Artisan Bakery and also at La Comer, I've enjoyed the fact that they have a slicer. If the slicer doesn't slice at the width that you wish, you can either get your own slicer, you can cut it yourself, you can submit the suggestion. I mean, there's many options to get there. But as Gina says, you can cut it yourself. Ram. Love it. But Bill got the feedback. I love it. Bill intends to add another bread slicer, which will make sandwich slices. It probably won't be until later in the season. I love it. I love it. This was fun, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed the interview. I hope you enjoyed the interview as much as I did. It is a pleasure to create these connections. And of course, let's remember that you can also find Artisan Bread. If you are not in Versalles, you can find Artisan Bread at the Thursday evening market in Marina Vallarta. And of course, the soon to open Three Hens in a Rooster market at Isla Rio Cuale. I think it's a matter of a couple of weeks. I forget what the exact date is, but we will include their link in the show notes along with everything else we discussed today. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Coffee and Headlines. And thank you for your constant questions, suggestions, reminders, and other kinds of inquiries that keep us looking for great information to connect with. So keep doing that. Keep joining us. Keep being part of the community. You make it so special here, and I very much appreciate that. And I'll see you again tomorrow.